Right. Well, it's exactly 4:30 in the morning here in Britain, and I just can't stop this. I really can't. I've got to get another video out, and I was well, you see from the title what I'm going to do, and there are all of these globalist organisations. There are so many of them. Feminists are just dumb, stupid bitches. They're being used by all these organisations as useful idiots. And one of these organisations that does this, I don't care how well meaning they think they are, it's all aimed at money. And this is the World Economic Forum. You may never have heard of them. There's so many of these organisations. I'm just going to do them. One of their main objectives that I'm looking at here, I'm not even going to leave a link. You just go to the website of the World Economic Forum, and you can find it easily enough. Shaping the Future of Education, Gender and Work. The World Economic Forum, like all of these other major, the IMF, the World Bank, there's loads of them. I'll go through them in future videos, but I've just found a little article on Huffington Post, my good friends. Joe Biden on violence against women. We have to change the culture. And he was speaking at a meeting for the World Economic Forum in Switzerland. And he said that this was when he was the vice president. He told business leaders not to relax efforts to help women make economic progress, reminding them that they must also help change the culture of sexual harassment and abuse. None of this matters if a woman is not safe. Safe in her workplace, safe in her home, safe on the street. It's a basic human right, the right to be safe. Biden said at an event co-hosted by the Huffington Post and Goldman Sachs bankers. Okay, I'm going to get to them in a moment. Joe Biden is the bastard who pushed through VAWA, the Violence Against Women Act. And yes, I know I've mentioned it before, 1994, signed by Bill Clinton. And it's the act that he's boasted that he's most proud of pushing through Congress. And it's sexist by its very name, of course. It only introduced, I think it introduced gender neutral terminology into it in 2005, but it still amounted to giving hundreds of millions of dollars to feminist organisations to spread the fucking hatred of men. And it wasn't until 2012 that lesbians were included in it, but no men, no concern about men, no concern about boys. And it's the same with this shitty organisation. And I'm going to tell you who actually finances these bastards at the World Economic Forum. And I think this says it all. World Economic Forum. They're interested in economics. And domestic violence, of course, destroys families. When families are destroyed, you can then cut welfare. You can force women into the workplace. You create more bank accounts. You create more debt. You therefore create more income for the bankers. And it's all interrelated with taxes, the government, and government borrowing. And I'll explain this at a later date. I'm starting to babble already because I've got so many bloody headings at the top of my page here that I've got to get through. I'm going to tell you who finances this World Economic Forum anyway. And these organisations, they're always obsessed with violence, gender-based violence, as they call it. Amnesty International are, and I had a little spat with them in a newspaper donkeys years ago when they claimed that domestic violence was a gender issue. It is not. I'll just give you a little quote here from page 246 of a British Home Office document, which I'll leave a link to. You've got a little box article within saying 63 million boys have experienced some sort of sexual violence. I think that's quite a lot, and it's about time that these globalist organisations started paying a little bit more attention. If they want to fucking hate on men, frankly, that's fine with me, because if men are too brainless and gutless to stand up for themselves, then fuck them. But boys, to do it to children as well, I mean, fuck these fucking people. Anyway, let's have a look at the people who finance this particular organisation. Oh God! Before I do, I'll just give you a headline from the World Economic Forum, gender parity. I don't believe in that. Gender parity is merely numerical equality. That is not the same as actual equality itself. Future of education, gender and work. A woman president, a black Wonder Woman, and other top gender stories of the week. Headlines. Will the US ever have a woman as a president? I don't know. It was a mistake to educate my daughter. Sexual harassment policies may be ineffective. Women close gender pay gap in 2 STEM jobs. We all know that the gender pay gap in Western countries is a myth. Cambodian elections. The women who lost their land and half. Historic rejection letters to women engineers. I'm going to have to cover some of these things. It's like a gold mine. Women work nearly an hour longer than men every day. No, they don't. And that's from the World Economic Forum. All right, fuck these headlines. Let's just see who finances them and then make your own mind up why these people finance women, these bankers. Is it because they love women, because they're philanthropists, or is it because they want more profit? Okay, I'll go straight to B. Banco Bradesco, Bank of America, Barclays, BlackRock, Bridgewater Associates. Down to C, we have Credit Suisse. In D, we have Deutsche Bank. Amongst the corporations, Facebook I mentioned, I might add. JP Morgan Chase & Co. Yeah, you can find them in loads of places where feminism is involved and they finance it. VTB Bank. Morgan Stanley, I believe they're bankers. MasterCard. Oh, Microsoft, I'll throw them in anyway. Standard Chartered Bank. Goldman Sachs. Thomson Reuters. UBS, if you don't know who UBS are, that's a Swiss-based bank, and they're involved in feminism and financing up their fucking necks. More of their partners include African Development Bank Group, African Export-Import Bank, Arab Bank, AT&T, may as well throw them in there as they were such huge supporters of Hillary Clinton. Banco Bilbao, whatever. Banco BTG Pactual, Banco Santander, Bank Leumi Israel, Barclays Africa Group. All right, I've had enough. Enough banks. There's just fucking loads of banks. Oh, Bergen Bank. I can help that one. Right, that's the last bank. But loads of these banks, loads of these huge corporations, all supporting an organisation which it isn't solely devoted to feminism, but you can see the picture. And I've always known that, no, actually I haven't always known, that's an exaggeration. It took me quite a few years to work out that it's the so-called corporate fascists, and you know, I'd never call them fascists because I'm as capitalist as hell myself. But don't let these banks or these politicians who I can't say what's going on behind closed doors, but it's as if someone else is pulling these politicians' strings when they're all devoted to the same globalization. And if you think of an MP in Britain, for example, or even a senator in the United States, they get paid absolute shit considering what they do. And I've spoken to MPs in the past who told me about the incredible workload that they have. And even though the last one I spoke to donkeys years ago was a real good, decent man, you can't help wonder, you know, every man has his price. Every woman has their price. What's going on behind closed doors? Who has the biggest lobby of all that is allowing feminists to destroy the family and fragment society? And mass immigration is involved as well. Who has the biggest lobby? It's been suggested that the Israeli lobby is the most powerful in this country. I'll do a little bit about that later, and please don't leave any anti-Semitic shit in the comment section because I am not an anti-Semite. Let me make that crystal clear. Corporate fascists and the international banks. My personal opinion is it's the bankers. They're the motherfuckers in control of this. Thank you if you've got this far. Sorry if it's been a little bit fragmented, but there's so much to go through here, and so many different organisations, some of which you'll possibly never even have heard of, that are just up to their necks involved in these fucking banks. It's the bloody banks, I swear to God. But if you want to disagree in the comment section, that's absolutely fine. Thank you very much.